G'day guys, today I've brought you into my home kitchen to show you a wonderful vanilla slice. You might not know this, but my second love to Thai food is actually patisserie. And I spent many years doing pastry, and the vanilla slice was one of my favourite. But today I'm going to add a Thai twist by adding some pandan flavour to the vanilla slice. So let's get started. Now the first step, we have 1 litre of milk. I'm just going to reserve 200 ml of the milk for the custard later, and the rest of the milk straight into the pan. And then to the milk we add 300 grams of caster sugar and the pandan leaf. Just break that up, twist it, and just allow it to release all of the lovely flavour when it's heating up. And then the vanilla bean. I like to use the one that's got the vanilla bean in there as well. Just adds a lot more flavour. And that goes in. And that's it. We put it on the heat. For the custard, it's really important to use a very high quality custard powder. When I learnt this recipe 15 years ago, the chef said to me that the Foster Clark's is the only one to use for the vanilla slice. It has the right flavour and it has the right consistency. So ever since that day, it's all I ever use. 175 grams. To make sure that the custard is really smooth, make sure you stir it well with a whisk until all the lumps are gone. And that way, you're going to have a perfect vanilla slice. So now that the milk has had about 10 minutes simmering, time to remove that pandan leaf. And the fragrant smell of the pandan is wonderful. And those vanilla beans are just floating on top. It's going to be a great vanilla slice. Make sure that the milk is at temperature before you pour it in, and then pour it in very quickly. Okay, so it's really starting to thicken up now. Now traditionally when you make custard it's a bit more runny, but for the vanilla slice you need it to be really thick to hold the weight of that custard once you put the cream into it as well. I love the smell of custard. Reminds me of Christmas time when I was a kid. Okay, looking really good. Okay. It's also important to make sure you cook the custard long enough, because the flour that's in the custard powder needs to cook out, otherwise you'll taste the raw flour. It takes about 3 minutes, so in a really good non-stick pan will work well, really well. Okay, then we just place that into a tray that's been lined with Glad wrap, and you can see that custard, no lumps, lovely and shiny, and very, very thick. And then we need to refrigerate that overnight. So you need some patience with this dish. If you don't let it go completely cold, it won't whip right later. We just flatten that out. Some Glad wrap on top, just to protect it. Don't worry about the steam condensing inside, it won't affect the custard at all. And then we put that in the fridge for later. So the next stage of the vanilla slice is the puff pastry. I've just used a convenience puff pastry today. You don't need to go and make your own. Always cook your puff pastry at 220 degrees, and to make sure that it doesn't puff up, we need to put holes in the top of the pastry. This is called docking. All you need is 2 forks, and then start hitting the pastry all over until you've completely covered the surface. So just place those carefully into a hot oven, and then make sure, cook that for 20 minutes, but make sure you turn it halfway through so it's browned evenly on both sides. And now for the filling. Firstly, this is the custard that has cooled overnight, one I did earlier, and this is only half of the recipe. So this recipe actually makes 2 full vanilla slices. All you need to do is take that custard and place it straight into a mixer, but make sure you use a paddle, not a whisk. And then we turn that on. So what I've done now is I've just broken down the thick custard, and then we're going to add just a small amount of cream. And then give that 1 more minute. And now that the consistency is thinner, we can put the whisk on with no danger of breaking the whisk. So we'll just put the whisk on there. We add the pandan extract, just a few drops. It's quite strong, but you do want a nice green colour. And then, while it's whisking on a high speed, I'll slowly add all of the remaining cream, but just slowly, 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 and let it take. And we keep whipping it until it's the consistency of thick whipped cream. Time to construct the vanilla slice. Now firstly, place the puff pastry down on a board and then spread it with some raspberry jam. Not too much, just a very thin layer. Okay, then we add on the custard mixture. Just a nice big scoop. And start to spread the custard out to the edges of the pastry. Another dollop on top. Work out the corners, push it out so that it ends up very, very even. And for good measure, one more dollop. Then place the pastry on top, and then using the remaining cream, fill up the sides. Now before you put the icing on top, it's important to cut the pastry first, because if you put the icing on first, it gets really messy. Now, this is really important. Just cut the top layer of the pastry. Don't cut all the way through. Score through the top of the pastry and then just drag it through. And then cleaning your knife, make the second cut. Again, just in the top surface of the pastry, with very short sawing motions. Then using a flat blade, cut through to the base and cut through the bottom of the pastry as well, cleaning the knife as you go. Then we get some pure icing sugar and dust the top of the vanilla slice. And there you have it, a very simple pandan flavoured vanilla slice. I think this might have inspired me to do a few more fusion patisserie dishes. Anyway guys, thank you so much for liking and sharing all of the Duncan's Thai Kitchen videos. It means a great deal to me and the whole team behind Duncan's Thai Kitchen. See you on the next video.